Today I'm going to take you to a place near my home called Restenneth Priory in Angus, Scotland. I visited recently out of curiosity and was surprised to find there was not much recorded about this site, although its origins are attributed to a Pict. It was built on an island in Restenneth Loch. It's built of local stone with a square tower and an octagonal spire. But why did they drain the loch? Who built the church? And when did it change? Is there any archaeology here? How do I know more? I decided to do some desktop research. There was such a plethora of internet sources. I decided to use my spring pad to tidy them up a bit. Right click and make a bookmark, and then I can sort them in a way that's meaningful to me. Of the broad brush resources, I particularly like the Scottish Gazetteer. This tells you about individual place names and something about the people associated with them. And I particularly like the maps. In this case, we can look at the Ordnance Survey map. We can zoom in so we can see the priory, and then we can compare it with the historical map, a beautiful hand-drawn monochrome image. You can see that around the priory site is Restenneth moss. This was the loch before it was drained to use the lime mud, the shell marl at the bottom, as fertiliser on the surrounding agricultural fields. If we then look at an aerial photograph, we can see the priory very clearly because it throws a strong shadow. And if we zoom in, we get a very good impression of the surrounding landscape, including, just to the south, an area of gravel and sand. This is a local quarry, and I'll come back to the association that has with the site at Restenneth in a few moments. The Gazetteer also talks about the place name meanings and dates. For example, this was the parish church of Forfar up until 1591. That was a good old walk every Sunday to attend church. I've also added some photographs of my own, and let's just have a quick look at some of those. Here with the tower you can clearly see a cut in the stone where another building was butted up to it once. The walls of the cloister that still stand on two sides are quite substantial. It would have been magnificent when it was all still standing. The architecture includes beautifully made stone windows with arches. There are inclusions in the walls for what presumably were some kind of memorials or stones. This is in the choir where the Hunter family and the Dempster family, both local, have family burials. And although up at Aberlemno there are very beautifully carved Pictish stones, there is nothing so elaborate here, but there are evidence of Pictish carvings on a couple of stones with very simple drawings, early interpretation of a cross, and there's some writing on this one. Quite childlike in their portrayal of people. But the stone that really fascinated me was a stone sarcophagus. Who was it for?